This essay is about it's about a bunch of fat cats and arrogant fat cats, and has to do with their issue about healthcare reform. Those fat cats, including Donald Trump, don't know their history because in 1912, Teddy Roosevelt was the president of the United States, and he tried to push through Congress a healthcare reform program to ensure all Americans. Fat cats back then stopped it. But also in 1912, Norway had a similar kind of healthcare program which passed. And every single country in the Western world and many countries that are not in the Western world in the last century have come up with some form of universal health care. Every one of them, except for one country, America. The fat cats who have all the money that they need aren't worried about health care. But what about the 24 million people that, if this gets through the Senate, will lose health care reform and insurance? Rich, arrogant fat cats aren't concerned about people who are not as lucky as they are. And many of those people are lucky because their parents had money and they inherited the money. And I've written about healthcare reform from the time Obama got it through Congress in his first year of his administration. And I was watching a TV, Jimmy Fallon, and he was talking about his child, who was a newborn child that had some congestive heart failure issue, and that had they not operated on the child would have died. That video is in this essay, and the picture of the child is also in this essay. And when I watched that program, the first thing I thought of was when I was 40-some years ago, much younger. I lived in Kingston, Pennsylvania with my family. And my daughter was born. Everything was fine, except for Hurricane Agnes came over the northeastern part of Pennsylvania, where Kingston's located, and was stationary for a week and flooded the entire area out. Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, just all along the Susquehanna River. And my daughter got sick, and there was no place to take her. All the hospitals were flooded. And so I drove back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and went to a hospital. My parents lived in Pittsburgh, and we stayed there. And in the meantime, we took Kristen to the hospital. And I remember sitting in the waiting room thinking about my child who was a month old and what would happen to her. Doctors came out after the examination, some tests and procedures they did. And All that they did was to stretch your urethra. It was no problem. But to make sure that she had nutrition, she was going through this recovery, they put IVs in her head because she's an infant, such a small child, that they couldn't get IVs in her arm. So they did it in the temple, and they cut her hair back, put an IV in the temple. That scared the daylights out of me. And I had the money. I was insured. Fallon has millions of dollars, and he's insured. But what about the others? The first photograph in the essay is about the fat cats from Trump down through the House of Representatives, the Republicans. They have the money and they don't care. One of the advantages that I have over the fat cats is not money. But I've done the dance with death twice, and I know that I am not immortal. And someday I won't have another day. And in this life, we are writing our legacy. And it's an embarrassment to me to have the fat cats smiling like Cheshire cats about their indifference to over 24 million Americans. So they don't have to worry about the money. Most of those people inherited the money from their parents. They're writing a legacy also. And they're arrogant SOBs. And that is their legacy. That is how they will be remembered. I appreciate your listening to this venting on my part, but somebody has to say something and do something. Fallon is, and I am. Thank you for watching this video.